Evolutionary podcast anyway, episode 434. Stevesmi here, and the Rickster, Ricky V, as in virtuous rock. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
All right, guys. So 434 today, we are doing 432. We did PCT. We talked about PCT. Today, we're going to be talking about on 434, as promised, we're going to talk about on cycle, ancillaries, supplements, drugs, whatever you got to run on cycle. So let's go over a little bit. You know, you're cycling steroids, right? And, you know, back in the old days, and a lot of people who did not do their homework, what they would do is they would just run steroids and they wouldn't run anything with them. And, you know, they might get away with it. They might get away with no problems. But here's the reality. The reality is, you know, you put your hand in the cookie jar one too many times, it's eventually going to catch up to you. So it could end up with problems. It could end up with gynecomastia, bitch tits. It could end up with heart problems, high blood pressure, elevated heart rate. You can end up with issues with water retention. You can end up with issues of insomnia. You can end up with issues with your prostate. You can end up with issues with your kidneys, with your liver, on and on and on. So, you know, today we're going to talk about what ancillaries do we really need. So I'm going to kind of get into the first, talk about the estrogenic issues that you could encounter on cycle. Now, certain anabolic steroids aromatize into estrogen, and some anabolic steroids do not. So it's important to understand which do and which do not, because if you're taking ones that don't, then you don't have to worry about using any type of estrogen blocker or aromatase inhibitor. But you know, if you're using testosterone at greater than the TRT dose, if you're using Dianabol, if you're using Deca, if you're using some of these other steroids, Ment, Tresolone, that aromatize, and then you also have steroids that bind to estrogen receptors, such as Anadrol. So it gets a little complicated because with Anadrol, even though it's a DHT derivative, it doesn't actually aromatize into estrogen. So running an AI with Anadrol is not going to do anything for you. So with Anadrol, a lot of guys have noticed when they run it is that they just roll with it. They roll with it and roll the dice, and they test to see if they're estrogen sensitive. But another thing that guys have noticed over the years is running Nolvadex. A little bit of Nolvadex with the Anadrol will help with the estrogen issue. So other than Anadrol, those other steroids I mentioned that do aromatize into estrogen, they go in your body and they convert to estrogen, raise estrogen levels in your body. Estrogen, high estrogen can cause a bunch of issues with estrogenic side effects. The bitch tits, the gynecomastia that I mentioned. Also, when you're retaining all that water, it's just like carrying water all day. So when you carry all water all day, the domino effect of high blood pressure and feeling tired and fatigued and not having energy, and then it carries over into your sleep quality. People who retain a lot of water, have high estrogen levels, have a hard time sleeping, getting a good night's sleep because of that estrogen. So it kind of, you know, hurts you in a lot of ways more than you think to let your estrogen levels get out of control. Because if you can't sleep good at night, your body can't repair itself. Your body can't recover itself from those workouts that you're doing. So really, it will catch up to you. You probably get away with it. You'll get away with it for, you know, maybe a cycle, maybe a second cycle, but over time, it's going to catch up to you. So we want to do things the right way. So one of the things you want to do in that situation is run an aromatase inhibitor. There are several out there. The three main ones: Aromacin, Arimidex, also called 8X, and then Aromacin is also called Exemestane. And then you have Letrozole, which is also called Letro. And the thing is with Letro, it's just too strong. It's one of those AIs that you just use in an emergency situation. So I want to use Letro. 8X is a very good AI, but the best AI of all to use is Aromacin, and I'll tell you why. Aromasin is a suicide aromatase inhibitor. That means it will permanently disable that enzyme, and that will prevent any type of rebound effect. Also, aromasin, there is some evidence that it increases IGF-1 in the body. There is some evidence that aromasin is very gentle, doesn't cause side effects. We know that from anecdotal evidence. So it won't mess around and give you other side effects. Letro, on the other hand, is so powerful that if you take Letro, you end up slamming your estrogen very rapidly. That can lead to issues like moodiness, and depression, and joint issues and all that stuff. So we want to make sure we balance our estrogen levels. We don't slam our estrogen levels too low, but we also don't let our estrogen get out of control. So at the end of the day, everyone wants to know how much to run. It depends on what you're running. The more aromatizing compounds you run, the more of an AI you're going to need. So it's all about balance. And at the end of the day, blood work, guys. Blood work will give you the black and white answer to how much you need. And it's going to take some trial and error. Also, your bodies do change over time. So, I mean, you might get away with a very light AI on one cycle. The next cycle, you may need to double your AI, even though you're running the same dosages. Could have a lot to do with the quality of gear you're running. Maybe your gear was underdosed before. So there's a lot of factors, guys. At the end of the day, blood work on cycle will kind of lead you in the right direction. And you want to balance the estrogen. You don't want to slam it. You don't want to let it out of control. So, Rick, you want to touch on that a little bit, but also take us into some of the other issues we have to worry about, like androgenic side effects on cycle, and tell us, what kind of drugs or steroid supplements that we can take to help with androgenic issues.
Well, the way I want to approach it a little bit is I want to talk about some of the things that you should be doing baseline just to get the most out of that juice. To go all the way and over to just taking synthetic hormones and neglecting some of the real baseline things that you need is just foolish. One thing we discuss on the podcast a lot is digestion. If you're going to make sure to have all the proper and the right foods that you need, then giving your digestive system just a little bit of help, it's a good idea. Psyllium husk is a great supplement to take every single day. Digestive enzymes are also great to take, especially if you're having a lot of meat and stuff. Probiotics, get the stuff from the refrigerator. Garden of can't remember the name, but Garden of Life, I think, is the company, but they make raw probiotics. They keep them in the refrigerator at your health food stores and your supplement stores. Make sure to do some of that. It'll help you get the most out of the foods you eat. Your body's going to process your meals much better. And so more energy can go to growing muscle. More of your body's less, I would say, less toxic when you get rid of some of those things in the middle. So to be using steroids and you haven't kind of taken care of baseline digestive issues, it's kind of, foolish. Because, I mean, even if you never took steroids, just adding psyllium husks, digestive enzymes, and probiotics to your diet on a constant basis, just that alone can help the way you look a lot. Just that. No need for any Anavar or anything. You might have an easier time looking better. Just taking care of baseline stuff like that. Also, some of us, when we have a lot of protein and slam some of these steroids like Trenbolone and stuff like that, your sweat can get a little bit strong smelling. Liquid chlorophyll is something I recommend a lot. It's like an internal deodorizer. It's really good for your body. It's good for you. I mean, chlorophyll is what plants use, obviously, to create energy from sunlight, correct? So eating plenty of vegetables every day is good. So having chlorophyll, it's good for you too. It's good stuff. And they'll definitely have you smelling and feeling just kind of cleaner, fresher, better. Liquid chlorophyll is really, one of those I think we should all make sure to take often. Daily multivitamin, daily multimineral. I make N2Guard. See, I'm down to my last couple of capsules here of N2Guard on this bottle. And N2Guard has just a full array of vitamins and minerals that you should be taking, and it has a liver support matrix that is really just awesome for your liver. It's got milk thistle seed extract. It's got N-acetyl L-cysteine. It's got TUDCA, tauroxydeloroic acid. I can't pronounce half of these names. I'm reading them off the bottle for you guys. It's got praline. When we put this formula together, we really wanted to give people the best liver support, kidney support, all around supplement for any steroid user. And I think we really knocked it out of the park. We've adjusted the formula a couple of times throughout the years to keep it compliant. And also when TUDCA became more available, we made sure to add it on there, a nice amount. So it's a great product. You guys listen to me on this podcast. By now, I know my shit. I really put together a really good product that I take every day, and that I know anybody out there on steroids will be really glad that they invested into this kind of real basic start to priming your body for muscle growth, and really kind of priming your body to be healthy and process all that food, and make sure you're synthesizing protein. I mean, N2Guard's got all the vitamins and minerals you kind of need. It's got the stuff your organs need. I mean, it's a really great product. If you guys support the podcast, then please go check it out and give it a shot. And you'll agree it's like the best product you can take while you're on the sauce, while you're on the juice. Also, a lot of questions have been made about protein powders. Should we use protein powders? I know I'm a big Whole Foods guy, and so is Steve. We're big on just having good, organic, wholesome foods. So I want to throw my 2 cents in about protein powder in this episode. The great thing about protein powder is that it's a lot of just sheer protein calories without anything else. If you try to get all that protein from Whole Foods, you're going to get other stuff in there. You're going to get some fats, some carbs, some other things in there, which is not a bad thing. But if you're really trying to do like a bulking cycle and you're trying to do 2 grams of protein per pound of desired body weight. So if you're 200 pounds and you're trying to get up to 230 on this cycle, then you need to do 2 grams of protein times 230. You need to do 460 grams of protein every day. That's kind of like your baseline of where you start your diet with if you're bulking, right? So having the ability to just knock out 50 to 100 grams of that protein on just 4 scoops of powder that you can dissolve in water or milk or whatever, depending what you're doing. That's just very convenient, very easy. It's a lot less chewing. I'll tell you that. 100 grams of protein in chicken breast is a good bit of chewing, and you definitely want to have all your protein or the calories that you want to have for your desired body weight goals. So I like protein shakes because it's a convenient way to add calories without a lot of chewing, a lot more digestion. Also, when you're cutting down, when you're trying to cut, and you're keeping most of your caloric intake to proteins and healthy fats, you're really cutting them carbs out. Good high quality whey isolate. It's just a good way to get those macros in. And look, if you take whey isolate and you take some of my N2Guard with your cycle, you're definitely getting vitamins, minerals, things your body needs, plus the protein. Without having to maybe have a whole chicken breast or a whole chicken liver, or having to have all of the foods to have everything you need. It really boosts the the vitamins and minerals you're receiving from just taking that protein shake, just adding a couple of capsules of N2 Now that protein shake is not just some protein and what comes with it. Now you have additional vitamins, minerals, nutrients that are just going to have to help in your muscle building quest, right? So protein shakes I really like because of that reason. It's a good way to just get high amounts of protein in your system, not a lot of chewing, not a lot of other things to go along with it, not a lot of preparation to that food to maybe, you gotta, I like the skin on my chicken. So I try to adjust my macros that way so that I can have that. I'd rather have a smaller piece of chicken with skin on it, calorie to calorie, than a larger piece of breast without the fucking skin on there. Skin is key. So I like the skin. So I can have the small piece of chicken with the skin on there, less protein, and I just up my fat intake. Then later, a little bit later, I make it up with some protein, with a protein shake. Protein shake and some N2 So those are just fired off a bunch of quick supplement suggestions, things that you guys can think about and do today to improve your progress and your fitness goals. And now I kick it back to you, Steve.
So the next part of it that you have to watch out for on cycle is going to be if you're running something that boosts dihydronandrolone in the body. So if you're running a nandrolone phenylpropionate, decadrobolin, any type of nandrolone, and those are the two that sources sell, obviously. So the way you combat that is by running a DHT derivative with it. And the best DHT derivative that I recommend is proviron. So proviron is a very important on-cycle ancillary. And I consider proviron a drug/hormone. Even though it's classified as an anabolic steroid, it really is more of a drug. And it's a very unique drug because it is a DHT derivative, but it also doesn't come with side effects like other DHT derivatives. So you're not going to get your head hair fried. You're not going to enlarge your prostate. You're not going to mess with your skin. You're not going to notice those side effects pronounced running a PED dosage of proviron. So you can add proviron 25 to 50 milligrams to any cycle. And if you're running it with a nandrolone, it's going to help offset those side effects, those DHN side effects that cause the dreaded decadic, that cause the libido issues that some people seem to experience on or after they run DECA. So it's a must to run. It's also very good because it binds to SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which causes your ratio of free testosterone or free hormones in your body to rise significantly. So it's going to make the other steroids in your cycle work better without causing an increase in side effects. So proviron for me is like the perfect addition to any cycle for those reasons that I just illustrated. So Rick, give us your quick thoughts on that, and also take us to on-cycle drugs and supplements that will help with our balls, keep our balls plump.
Just to comment on proviron, I was on a podcast with Dylan Gemelli, and he pointed out how he does well on that guy. And I said, well, do you ever run steroids without proviron? He says, hell no. So proviron really is a good steroid to take along with DECA and maybe any of these steroids that you're describing, Steve. And I personally am not huge on proviron because I'm not even huge on DECA or Anadrol or any of that family tree. It's not my thing. Even Winstrol, very rarely I'll mess with. Trenbolone, I'll try to keep under 100 mgs. I just that whole family tree over there is maybe not what I've really leaned on doing, but a lot of guys like it. A lot of guys love it. And proviron is definitely a good one to go along with that. So libido is something that we're all concerned with. Good libido, good hardwood, being able to deliver when there's a delivery to be done. And libido is huge for everyone. Now, some of us tend to have pretty good libido during cycle, which then tends to fall off during PCT. And a lot of guys notice that even with Clomid, or some guys take a little shot of HCG, and you might still suffer some kind of weird, not so great libido issues because you're getting off the androgens. Now, for that, here you go, I got it here. I just started this bottle. N2 Generate used to be called HC Generate. You could check it out at hcgenerate.com. This one per day, you're getting vitamin E and you're getting zinc, which are both very important for testosterone production. You get 1,000 milligrams of Adoja agrestis, 1,000 milligrams of fenugreek extract that's been standardized for a minimum of 50% saponins. You also get 500 milligrams of 3,4 divannyl tetrahydrofuran. That's stinging nettle extract for you guys. This one is a standardized for minimum 95%. That's 500 milligrams. That's going to help raise free testosterone. We got Tribulus terrestre. You got 500 milligrams per day. It's a 30-day bottle. And it's got minimum 45% standard for the saponins that we want from that fruit. Tonkat LE extract, 100-to-1 extract, 100 milligrams of that. And then we throw a little bit of boron citrate on there, which is about 100 milligrams of boron citrate, which is only about 5 milligrams of boron. So we throw a little bit of boron in there, which is also really important for testosterone production. And now the product is not meant to just raise testosterone levels. Some of the ingredients in there, I believe, and this is something I've discussed with other guys that manufacture and products and guys that research this stuff. We feel like the Tribulus could actually increase your brain's sensitivity to the androgens. So maybe Tribulus on its own by itself might not be all that great at raising testosterone, but do you feel like you're on something? Do you feel a lot better on it? And everybody's opinion on it that knows their shit has been, yeah, man, the Tribulus, even though you might not really see a huge increase in testosterone from it, Tribulus will make your brain feel that those androgens a lot more. And it's the main reason I threw in a good amount of a good high quality standard, because you can get some supplements that have more Tribulus. Usually they're all under 500 mg, but you get some that are like super Tribulus and 800. But what are they standardized for? Are they really giving you that much? And Tribulus is only one of the ingredients on here. We have the fenugreek and we have the Fedoja. Now, fenugreek we found to also give you the same feelings of some of those androgens without suppressing you. If anything, helping you come back from that suppression. So while taking these herbs along with your cycle when you're coming off, man, it just keeps you in a good mood, keeps you on the up and up. It has ingredients to help you come back from suppression that are meant for that. And but it also has some herbs that, guys like us that have been taking them for ages. The first time I took Tribulus, I bought Tribex from T-Nation, from Biotest T-Nation in, I think it was like the year 2000. It's the first time I took Tribulus. That's how far back I go with it. So I've taken theirs and many others. And then when I started making my own products, I started getting my hands on like the best Tribulus I could get, because I know how good it is. And like, remember guys, I'm making this stuff for me first, right? So definitely just a great product to take to just keep you feeling on the up and up. Like the way you feel every day, it's very important. And sometimes these drugs don't make us feel that great. They're great at building muscle mass and all that, but sometimes just things are different, especially when you're coming off the steroids. That's just that part, those weeks just coming off this stuff, when week after week your androgen levels are dropping after you were at levels sky high. Not a great feeling. And I found myself, I just feel better, just feel on the up and up, motivated, drive, still going to the gym, still feel like I'm on something. It's a different feeling because I've got less androgens in my system anyway. But some of the herbs here, I really believe, affect the way my brain works. And like I said, I've consulted this with many guys. Tribulus is not a new invention that I just came up with. I just got a really good quality tribulus in this product. I have an extra strength version of this product too, which adds 10 additional ingredients. And I'll get into that one probably in another podcast for you guys. I won't lean too much into that today, but that's just using the herbs, just very, very important for your whole recovery, for your libido, for the way you feel. We just did a podcast a couple podcasts ago where on the Joe Rogan podcast, somebody who's a researcher understands the science behind Fedoja spoke about it. Fedoja agrestis. In my AC Generate product, Intergenerate, we call it now, right? I'm giving you 1,000 milligrams of Fedoja agrestis stem every day, right? You get 30 days per bottle. It's 1,000 milligrams. Why that much? Because that's the amount you need it for it to work. My products are premium priced because we do things like give you 500 milligrams of tribulus and 1,000 milligrams of Fedoja in the same bottle. And then there's 1,000 milligrams of fenugreek in there too. Why? Because this product is for someone coming off of the sauce, and someone coming off of the juice needs something a lot heavier and a lot stronger than some guy who's just trying to get a little boost, just a little pick me up in the gym, and maybe just a little more lead in his pencil for his old lady. You know what I mean? And just a product with just a little bit of tribulus and some tonkat, those two, and you're on your way. You're good. But somebody who's coming off of these androgens and needs a real pick me up and needs to have that feeling, then you need not just the tribulus and the tonkat, which is in my product, but Fedoja, fenugreek, stinging nettle extract. And then you need the zinc, the vitamin E, boron in there to make sure that you have the building blocks needed really to get that testosterone production going. So taking herbs on and off cycle, it's something I've been doing since my early 20s. Tried many different products throughout the years, and I found it to be a plus in my life, in my lifestyle as a steroid user, adding these natural ingredients into my program. And just like the coffee plant has caffeine, which pick you up, and cannabis plants have THC, which dumb you down. There are a bunch of other herbs out there that have effects that are not immediately apparent on the brain, but that over days build up and can help your body. And we share a lot of the same chemistry with plants, a lot of the same sterols and saponins and hormones that the plant makes. Our receptors can also accept and receive a signal from in our body. And throughout the millennia, we found those plants and picked them up. And this AC Generate, my product, has about 5 different plants that come from all around the world, from everywhere, from Malaysia to Bulgaria to Nigeria to just a lot of different places that these herbs get shipped in to make you this great product. So please check it out. Please support me in the podcast when you guys buy my product. We do one of these kind of promotional advertising on podcasts once in a blue moon. But I really believe in my product, guys. I really believe in my mission and improving everybody's lifestyle, not just through great products, but through the information that I try to provide and share with you guys, the experience of all these years of messing with these compounds, so that maybe you don't have to mess with them and make the same mistakes I've done, and maybe have the same impact on your health that I've had in mind. So yeah, hcgenerate.com. Check us out. Please support the podcast. Needtobuildmuscle.com. It's my website. You can pick up and to generate on there. Hey, we ship all over the world. If you're in Australia, Canada, in the UK. In the UK, you can pick up my products from predatornutrition.com. Anywhere you're in the world, New Zealand, we ship all over. I ship to Kuwait, I ship to India, we ship to South America. Pretty much anywhere that you're listening to this podcast, I can get my products to you. And just place an order, hit me up, and we'll be happy to take care of you guys.
Yeah, there was someone in Antarctica too, one of our podcast listeners.
I ship stuff to Alaska. I ship stuff to a lot of different places, and no problems. All of my ingredients are legal. I don't sell anything too crazy, no pro hormones or any of that stuff. So pretty much anywhere we send it lands. We've had a little bit of trouble to Sweden. Sometimes Sweden gets a little bit touchy, but for the most part, anywhere else in the world, we can get you the products. So just place an order, hit us up. More than happy to serve you.
So guys, we're gonna have more podcasts like this, and we're gonna definitely follow up with more information. If you guys have any questions, feel free to come on the forum and post up. We would love to hear from you. For Stevesmi and the Rickster, this has been a very important episode about on-cycle ancillaries and supplements. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.